What do you know about the corpse just pulled from the Thames?
Oh, about £half worth.
At that depressed price, I'll assume against all odds that your information is worth even less than usual.
Well, here's a free sample. The Yard thinks it's a strong-arm robbery gone wrong. Victim's watch and wallet are missing. The inquest is scheduled Thursday next.
As I suspected, such information is nearly worthless. Oggy, heard anything that might interest me?
Nothing, Mr. Holmes. You know I'd try to flog it if I did.
Which is more bother, Lestrade being in or being out?
It's a fair question. Seems I'm the only one round here working all hours. Go in if you like.
I need details of the corpse you hauled from the Thames, Lestrade.
Middle-aged, on the thin side of average, shot in the head, cavernous hole, dead before he hit the water.
The crime was witnessed?
No. A riverman may have heard the shots. He found the body by the needle. He'll collect £half for the corpse. Claims to know nothing about how it got there.
You believe him?
These river taps are a dodgy lot. You'll volunteer anything that turns a profit and nothing that won't. But I don't think he did the murder.
Where can I find this worthy?
The body's at Bart's, not a pretty sight. His face is gone. Can't even tell what colour his eyes were. The rest of him's all right. Hadn't been in the water long.
I was referring to the riverman.
Ah! Needham's his name. Constable on the scene took all the particulars. He's at the Needle. You remember P.C. Roach?
I've been trying to forget him for years. Still adrift in a sea of paperwork, Lestrade.
I'm drowning, Mr. Holmes. Going down for the third time.
Any more information about the corpse from the embankment?
Nothing you don't know about. It looks like a random robbery and murder. Much obliged to you for looking into it.
We must stop meeting like this, Dr. McCabe.
I'd prefer a chin wag at my local over a pint and game of darts, but I doubt that's quite in your line.
You might be surprised. Inspector Lestrade has asked me to help identify the body that was pulled from the Thames. Is he on the slab?
I wish Lestrade had informed me of his intention. You know my practice in these matters.
Doctor, did your examination reveal anything else of interest?
Well, his lungs were in deplorable shape. Tobacco, I should think. Alcohol had begun to ravage his liver and kidneys. I would characterize his general condition as dilapidated.
Anything of significance, Watson?
Lestrade must have been desperate to call. How are even you to identify the unidentifiable?
My vanity believes he considers me to be the highest court of appeal in detection, but more likely I am his last resort. Observations, Doctor.
Undernourished, reasonably well-formed, white male, age between 30 and 40. No obvious physical abnormalities. Nicely shaped hands, showing no recent history of manual labour.
A description that might fit 200,000 men in Greater London.
You would add?
He was right-handed, an occasional painter, oils I think, suffered from dandruff and smoked heavily.
I see the ink on his index finger and paint under his nails. The dandruff is obvious, but I see no nicotine stains on his fingers.
Nor do I. Note the discoloration around what remains of his upper lip. That is not a powder burn. I assume he used a holder, or perhaps he smoked a pipe. Lestrade's missive suggests a problem of identification. Is it real or apparent?
Very real. Extremely difficult case from his point of view.
What can you tell me about this victim's cause of death?
The formal cause was a massive cerebral hemorrhage. The efficient cause were bullets of a large calibre fired from point-blank range.
Drowning and suicide can be dismissed then. I've been experimenting with ballistics. You have the bullets?
Useless fragments. I disposed of them. The large pieces must have passed through the cavernous exit wound.
One bullet would certainly have done the job, Doctor. Thoughts?
The killer was a vicious psychopath.
Likely, but incomplete, I think.
If you say so. My interests are with the victim. Yours reside in the murderer. I prefer my work.
Might I examine the body?
I know your methods, Mr. Holmes. Observation is your watchword.
Its corollary is that without knowledge, observation and deduction Have you ever seen a tattoo like this one, Doctor?
Never. Not the usual subject matter. Anchors, lions, dragons and such.
Indeed. A delicate Tudor rose, the emblem of England. A unique design, colours and placement, overall quite remarkable. He wears the rose of youth upon him, the bard says.
I've always been partial to Antony and Cleopatra.
Could I see the victim's effects?
You know where I keep them, and it's only the clothes. He came in without shoes, and his pockets were empty.
Indeed. Most peculiar. Most interesting. I'll sign for the hat, Doctor. I'd like to take it with me. Why do you think the killer used 2 bullets, Watson?
An accident or fluke. There may be no cogent reason whatsoever.
Nonsense. It was intentional. He wished to complicate identification of the victim, but the killer also told us about himself. He wanted to punish as he killed. Why, I wonder?
That's grotesque, Holmes. Perhaps incompetence was the reason, or panic. You always suspect the worst of people.
It is a matter of no small regret, Watson, that many of my low, mean-spirited suspicions turn out to be well-founded. A highly unusual, if not unique design. Comments, Doctor?
I will defer to your judgment, Holmes. I can't recall seeing anything like it in your monograph on tattoos and scarification.
I have some thoughts, but they can wait. Now, what do you make of the hat?
An extravagance, given his other clothing. Perhaps it reflects his ambition.
Interesting speculation, Doctor, but wrong. The hat does not belong to the victim. I believe it belongs to the man who killed him.
You will clarify that convoluted hypothesis at some later time, I hope.
Constable, it's Sherlock Holmes. I'd like to survey the scene.
There's a murder inquiry hereabouts. You know Inspector Lestrade don't tolerate intruders at our investigations.
You can read, can't you, Roach? Lestrade has requested my assistance.
No need to be snide, Mr. Holmes. I'm just following orders.
Following orders, the last refuge of the immoral and the inept.
What's that?
Your predilections notwithstanding, I will examine the scene, Constable.
I don't like interference, Mr. Holmes. I'll be keeping an eye on you. Might try to make me look bad.
That wouldn't be difficult, but I have better things to do. I'm sure Lestrade would be stupefied if you've discovered anything of interest.
I applied my eagle eye to the area. There's nothing here.
Better light might reveal more, and the skills of the investigator are not unimportant.
Precisely why I'm on the case. Best men for the job. I know a crime when I see it.
Very sly. But I doubt your vigilance will be rewarded.
Who's to say? I'll be pushing off soon for my tea.
What can you tell me about the crime, Constable?
Why Lestrade needs you is beyond me. Seems like you're always begging information from us.
As you haven't solved the case, perhaps you might humour the inspector and simply answer the question?
The victim was shot at close range by an unknown assailant. Probably happened nearby and recently. The body ended up in the river. A wherryman fished it out. That's it.
Where might I find the wherryman?
Body's name is Needham. Jesse Needham. Lives off the Aldgate High Street. 6 Half Moon Passage. If you're planning a visit, consider a firearm. The inspector always takes a pistol east of Bishopsgate.
Ismail Pasha's gift looks hauntingly mysterious in this light.
And you can't see the damage wreaked by coal dust and the climate. A decade in England has mutilated the obelisk more than 3 millennia in Egypt. It's sickening.
The dolt called me an intruder. Can you credit it?
He's either ignorant or intentionally insulting.
A little of both. The moronic and the abusive are evenly matched in his character. Let's be off, Watson. I didn't really want to be here anyway.
We came here for good reasons, Holmes. Official rudeness or incompetence does not diminish their validity.
Our Constable Roach is a congenital idiot, Watson.
A man with his limitations should find another line of work.
I guarantee what he has found barren will bear fruit for us, but not now. Do you recall the great Goethe's dying words, Watson?
Regrettably, my German is non-existent, Holmes.
Mehr Licht, he said. More light. We have a similar need.
Less official surveillance might serve a similar purpose.
In this light, I can't do much better than the cretinous constable.
You could do better on hearsay. But I'm sorry I didn't bring the bullseye.
Never mind, I've got mine. But I don't plan on doing his job for him. Another time will suit us better.
An unsupervised pass with the bullseye would prove more enlightening.
You're right, Watson. I'm not about to do Roach's job for him. And for that helpful reminder, I'll excuse your terrible pun.